we are going to talk about ego authority. And this is an extremely, extremely rare authority. And there are two different variations of it. Only manifestors and projectors can have ego or will center authority. And the will center, so this is it's the smallest triangle in the chart. It's toward a little bit off center towards the right side. And it will be defined. And if you are an ego projector, it will be connected to the G center, which is the triangle in the middle of the chart. If you are an ego manifestor, then this will either be directly connected to the throat, or it will be connected to the G center, and then from the G center up to the throat. People that have this authority have a lot of openness in their chart. It is extremely rare. About 1 in 6,000 people have ego authority. So if you are an ego projected projector, that is 1 in 10,000 people. It is by far the rarest of the authorities. And if you are an ego manifestor, that's about 1 in 2,000 people. So that would be actually the second rarest. And just to give you an idea of how rare this actually is, the next in line is 1 in 100. So we're talking 1 in 2,000, 1 in 10,000 for ego projected projectors compared to 1 in 100. So this is very, very, very rare. And the ego center, and it's also sometimes called the heart or the will center, governs value and worth and willpower. And people that have this center defined, they have a tendency to actually have pretty consistent willpower, and they want to be careful to not use it to override other aspects in their design. So it's important to take breaks, because it's easy to willpower through stuff, even though you might feel exhausted. And the willpower really works to rest. Like, it does the work so that then it can have time to rest. So extra important for people that have a defined willpower to make sure that they get enough rest in. Now, when it operates as an authority, I mean, you could have a defined willpower, any type except for reflectors can have it defined. It won't necessarily be your authority. But when you have it as an authority, which is basically how you make the important decisions in life, so your decision-making strategy in human design, you want to actually really pay attention to, does what you're deciding honor your worth and your value? You have the energy and the willpower to do what you're trying to decide. And is your heart in it? Because the will, it's also known as the heart center. Like, it's really important for you to engage with things that your heart is actually in. And because the will center governs worth and value, this is the only authority or the only decision-making strategy that can really take money into consideration when making decisions. All of the other authorities, money doesn't play so much of a role. I mean, your head, your mind will will take money into consideration when making decisions. But if your authority is not on board, no matter how much money is involved, it's not correct for you. With the will authority, money is actually a factor. Like, you want to make sure that whatever you're getting in return is really worthy of you exerting the energy. And so sometimes, this can be considered selfish, like having a defined will. And I do have a defined will. It's not my authority, but this is the, sometimes it's healthy to be selfish. Like, you really need to know that what is right for you to engage in, what your heart is in, and, is it worthy of you? Now, for the ego projected projectors, and again, this is 1 in 10,000 people have this authority. And if you have this authority, that means you have the channel 2551, which connects your will center to your G center, which is at the diamond shape in the middle of the chart. You absolutely have to have this channel. You may or may not have a defined crown, ajna, or throat, but nothing below that will be defined, which means you have a lot of openness. And when you're making decisions, it is really important for you to consider if the decision you're making aligns with your direction, because the G center, which is definitely going to be defined and connected to the will center, which is your authority, is the center of love, identity, and direction. Does this align with your identity and your direction? Really, really important to consider. So everybody needs to be really careful not to let their mind get involved in the decision-making process. It doesn't matter what your authority is. Your mind is where your conditioning lives, and it is not a reliable decision maker for anybody because it will try to talk you into or out of all kinds of things based on rationalization, logic, whatever it may be. So you want to be really careful that that's not running the show. And also you want to be really careful because you have a lot of openness and your emotional solar plexus will definitely be open, which means that you are often taking on and amplifying the emotions of others. So if you have ego authority, whether it is ego manifested or ego projected, you want to be really careful that you're not trying to keep other people happy and making decisions because you're trying to keep somebody else happy versus doing what is correct for you. If you have ego manifested authority, that means you're a manifestor, your will center is connected to your throat, either directly through the channel 2145 or indirectly by connecting through the G center, through the channel 2551, and then up to the throat. And if you don't know what channels are, don't worry about it. We will learn about that at some point down the road. But this is how your authority works as a manifestor. And what this means is that your willpower is connected to your throat, which is about communication and expression. So when you're making decisions, it's really important for you to actually speak out loud and really listen to what you sound like. Do you sound excited and enthusiastic? What are you saying about the decision? Or do you sound disappointed and just not like, you're not really into it? Your voice will tell you a lot about what the correct decision is for you. So speaking out loud in an unfiltered way, you could speak to a trusted advisor. It's important that you don't necessarily think about what you're going to say. You just want it to flow out in the moment when you are letting your authority speak through your will center. So again, you just like ego projected authority, you want to make sure your mind is not getting in the way, that you're not trying to keep other people happy, and just really listen to your own inner authority. Is your heart in it? Do you have the energy and the willpower to commit to this? Is what you're considering worthy of you and the value that you bring to the table? And with will authority or ego authority, this can operate really quickly or it could take some time. So there's not like a specific time frame around it. It could be quick, it could be slow, and it could vary from decision to decision. So that is it for ego authority today. Thank you so much for listening. And I have a special offer for people with ego authority. You are extremely rare. Combined, you're about 1 in 6,000 people, 1 in 10,000 for ego projected projectors, 1 in 6,000 for, no, 1 in 2,000 for ego manifestors. And I would love to offer you a 50% off reading to go deeper into your chart. This is definitely not something I do all the time. This is the first time I've offered something like this because you are so extremely rare and there's not a lot of information out there necessarily about some of the lesser known authorities. So if you would like to take advantage of that offer, you can email me at vanessa@vanessanaja.com with a screenshot of your chart and I will send you the details on how to sign up for that. Thank you so much for listening and I will see you in the next episode. Bye. If you want to dive deeper, I invite you to get a free human design mini reading report at vanessanaja.com/free mini reading or book a human design reading with me. Links are in the show notes. That's it for today's episode. I know your time is important and I'm so grateful you chose to spend it with me. It would mean the world to me if you engage with the episode by liking, subscribing, commenting, and letting me know any questions you have or what else you'd like to learn about. And the absolute best compliment is if you share with someone you think will benefit. It really helps me spread the message. Love and blessings to you.